Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. Because this is Forged in Fire and we like to throw curveballs at people, in the first round of competition today, you'll be using these. Mining tools. So choose your mining tools wisely because all of these tools are made from different types of steel. Your 3-hour forge time starts now.
We have the option of using 1085 carbon, but I'm gonna play it safe. I'm not gonna do a forge weld. It's still more beneficial for me to go with an unknown source of steel than to spend my time possibly doing a forge weld that might not have a good hardened spine.
Come on, baby, get hot.
Interesting. He's putting the whole pickaxe head into the forge.
My plan is to use the back spike as a handle. That saves me the trouble of having to go to the bandsaw and cut it off. I've got a built-in handle, why not use it?
I like to hope that he's going to try stretching one end of that pickaxe out, see how much he can get out of it.
I'm not going to try and forge weld. I trust this steel better than I do my time management.
My plan is whack the metal really hard. My concern is that I'm only using one metal, but I'm doing what I feel comfortable with.
After I've got the blade profile the way I want it, I start drilling holes for my dowels to go through. The bits are screaming. Oh my gosh. So two things are going on. Either the bit is very dull or my blade's already hard.
Storm, grabbing a new drill bit.
I've probably got 10 or 15 minutes into drilling one hole.
There he goes.
All right.
I'm loving this power hammer. This thing does in seconds what it would take me hours and lots of aspirin to do. I feel great. Woo!
I don't have a power hammer at home. I've never even seen one. I prefer to hammer shape it. I remember my great-grandfather pouring water onto his homemade anvil and hitting it, and that's what symbolized the blacksmith to me. I'm gonna try and stand out by doing something with a little bit more of my style, which is more of an artist's approach.
Yeah, he's just marking that blade up.
I like it.
I'm trying to create something a little bit more artistic. I think straight lines complement curves.
He's putting some part of himself in there, the look.
Something that's a little bit more imperfect, but handmade.
Storm is just quenched.
Everything seems good, but there's a slight warp. I don't want to turn in a warped blade. That's just one reason for me to go home. If I do a 3-prong pinch in the vise, I might be able to take this warp out. I'm grabbing a torch and I'm trying to get this thing back straight. Ha-ha! It's straight, and I just feel so relieved.
I'm getting ready to quench the blade. I'm nervous, I've got butterflies, the adrenaline's pumping. I've got tunnel vision. I can't see what's going on around me. Everything looks straight. I don't see any cracks. Thank you, Lord.
Neil's in the quench.
I really enjoy the fact of a knife being shaped about 80–85% of what its end result is going to be. But my biggest concern is that they don't like my style. Like it's a little too primitive or it's a little too unfinished for them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machines, drop your tools. Your forging time is over.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. You each get 3 coconuts, 1 shot each. Remember, this is not about what happens to the coconuts, it's about what happens to your knife. Neil, you're up first. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Neil, it chopped cleanly. It felt comfortable. Got a little bit of a curve to the blade, but you had that before. Your edge held up fine. Nice job, Neil.
Thank you. Being from Hawaii, if I had a knife that didn't cut a coconut, I would never hear the end of it.
Ready, Dan?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Dan, I was concerned because you have a much thinner edge here, but apparently you dialed the heat treat in just right. You did take some of our advice by reducing some of this thickness here. I wish it had been a bit more because you have that bend in the blade that's not in line with my hand. But it held up tight. Nice job, Dan.
Thank you.
Storm, what are you thinking?
I'm nervous, very nervous.
Well, we're gonna do it anyway.
Yes, sir. My heart's beating out of my chest.
Storm, we've got some definite edge damage, some chipping and rolling. I'm worried that all of that over-forging, continually heating, straightening, might have pulled some of the strength out of your blade. Your handle stayed tight, though. I appreciate the fact that you have, that little bit of belly on there that helps me hold on to it. Didn't hold up 100%, but you still did a very nice job.
Thank you kindly.
To test the sharpness of your blade, I will take your blade and slash across these ratchet straps. Neil, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Well, Neil, it's nice that you made the little adjustments that we requested. Your little finger weld there did not get in the way. It's very smooth, but it feels good in the hand. Overall, your blade will cut.
Right on.
Good job. Dan, you're up next. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, Dan, let's talk about your blade. Your handle. I like the way it feels. It's got a good grip, nice finger swell right there so I can hold on to your blade. It's sliced nicely, it feels good in the hand. But when you look at it, you still have a slight warp to that. But overall, your blade will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Storm, it's your turn. You ready?
More than ever.
Let's do this. Good. Okay, Storm, let's talk about your blade. It is one of the smoothest handles we've ever had from a second round. Good job on that.
Thank you.
Here's some of the issues, though. It's a small handle. When you're working with blades that are bigger than your hand, it becomes blade heavy. You start chopping and hitting around it, it wants to leave the hand because it's so smooth. Your blade here almost has serrations now. It grabbed onto the ratchet straps and cut all the way through. Overall, your blade will cut.
Waited a long time to hear that. Thank you.
Bladesmiths, the judges have made their final decision. It's time for one of you to leave the forge. Storm, your blade did not make the cut.
Storm, your energy and enthusiasm in the forge was amazing to watch. I mean, you've obviously got a passion for this, and you produced a fine piece. But the forging and the heat treat on your blade just couldn't stand up to the strength test with those coconuts, so that's why we have to send you home today.
Completely understood.
Storm, please surrender your blade.
Would have been nice to go further, but it's the way the cards fell, and that unfortunately led to me going home. Failure isn't fatal and success isn't final. It's the courage that counts. So I'll keep living by that motto and moving forward.